there's still a little daylight left, so I figured I'd do another video. And I'm not sure if I want what background I want on this. I think I may want this background. Show the cards up a little bit better. So there's lots of decks out there that are unique, very unique decks. And one of them is the Green Witch Tarot. And we're going to look at that briefly. I think what we're going to do, though, is we're going to look just at the Major Arcana. This way, if I have any questions, I can look it up in the book while we're going through the Major Arcana. So this is a beautiful deck put out by Llewellyn. It has a nice big box with a big book in it. And this is like a Celtic book, I think. Sort of like it's Celtic background sort of book. So we're going to just, the book itself is 240 pages, no color, but nice large pictures of each card. And then you can take notes on the cards and the meanings and your experiences with the cards. The thing that drew me to this deck, or when I started looking at it online, is the pictures. There's a lot to draw from the images. Just like the John Bower, which is a wonderful deck. It's not a traditional deck either, but they're pictures of John Bower was an artist at the turn of the century in the 1900s, and he did. It's just really a series of his artwork that is just then kind of put in the context of the tarot, but the meanings are not traditional. And this is sort of reminds me of that. A lot of nature and interesting things in the cards. So this, I didn't look at this beforehand. What I'm going to do is, I'm assuming, yes, we're just going to look at the first, and we're going to go backwards, because this is, okay. I'm going to put these aside. That's the Minor Arcana. So this is a very picturesque deck. As you can see, it's all about outdoorsy nature. So, I mean, knowing the Major Arcana will certainly help you with the deck, but there are some different meanings or some expanded meanings. Now, they are numbered, which is good. So here we have the Green Man. I wonder if I should go any lower. Let's see if I should go lower on this. That looks good. So here's the Green Man. And if you see here, there's a Green Man with a little puppy dog and then a wand, and he's like marching along. So that very much shows to be the Fool. Now let's look in the book. I'm not going to look up every card, but if there's a card that I just kind of want to see, I'm going to look it up real fast. So there is an introduction. They do have keywords for the numbers. That might be worth looking at. So this is the Major Arcana, and this is the Green Man. This card represents the god of nature in his aspect as the Green Man, historically depicted as a leafy male figure with a folate face. He represents the fertility of spring and the wakening earth when vegetation begins to sprout. And then there's some a Celtic religious type or myths. The Green Man relates to the Sabbat of Ostara, the spring equinox, when the god's energetic enthusiasm initiates new things, new beginnings, adventure, and growth. So there you have it, very similar to the Fool, but in the context of Celtic lore. Here's the witch, and the witch would be the magician. And you do still have, we have a little witch here. It's a very cute little witch. And then you still have the elements, or the cups, the pentacles. And I'm sure somewhere in there is the wand and the sword. I can't see it right now. It is getting a little darker. The High Priestess. Beautiful card. Earth Mother, which would be the Empress. The Emperor. The Horned God. The High Priest, which would be the Hierophant, or the Pope. The Lady and the Lord would be the Lovers. The Chariot. The Battle Wagon. The Crone, a woman and her lion, which would be the Strength card. The Holly King, which is number 9, which is the Hermit. The Wheel of the Year. These are beautiful cards. So more pagan, more nature. The Standing Stone, which would be Justice. The Oak King, which is the Hangman. The Lord of the Shadows, which is the Death card. The City, and that would be Temperance, number 14. And she's putting something together. Nature, 15. Would be the Devil, right? Yes, I think. But it's called Nature. Let's check that. Let's see what that is all about. Nature. This is the card of Wild Nature, where the path chosen may be joyful and restricted or fraught with unseen dangers and overgrown vines. Here the trapper is setting a bear trap, unaware that a bear is behind him watching. The man is equally oblivious to the fawns of the wilderness dancing in the distant clearing, one even beckoning to the bear. Choices are the highlight of this card, as are possible repercussions. So this is the Devil, but this is a nice description. The warning is that short-term goals that require personal sacrifice are not always in one's best interest. Will the bear join in the revelry of the nature spirits, or will it risk being entrapped by reaching into something unnatural? People also choose the direction they travel in their lives, and sometimes what originally seemed like a blessing turns out to be false. Then the choice becomes whether or not to liberate oneself. Staying in a job that pays well but has unpleasant work environment, or staying in an unrewarding relationship because of the expectations of others, are only 2 examples of how one may take on undesirable burdens. The restrictions that are self-imposed may also be self-released. So one may better savor the joy of life and dance with the fawns. One may choose to act freely, to laugh at the result if necessary, or to be tied to a situation, a way of life, or an attitude that is not enjoyed or liked. So that is an interesting. So the meaning, they do have a meaning of the card: accept or release self-imposed restrictions, follow inclinations, potential is obstructed or unleashed, allow the natural course to flow, freedom, choose what appeals. Okay, so there's a lot of nuance with this card, so it can mean a lot of different things. It's sort of questioning your choices. you know, and looking at the whole picture to see if really it's servicing you, if it serves you well. The Tower. The Wild Hunt, and there's this horse here. It's horses. They're sort of chasing things over here. The lighting is getting bad. The Star. What a beautiful card that is. The Moon. Another beauty. The Sun. What a beautiful Sun card. The Harvest, which is Judgment. And the World Tree, which is the world. And there's a snake right there. There's a bird of a dove maybe over there. So isn't that nice? This is quite a nice little Major Arcana. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just pick 3 cards. And it's kind of like a little mini reading for like an interview with the deck. So what does this deck want to tell me today, right now? Nature. That was the Devil card. So it's about choices, making choices, and why you make the choices you make, and if they benefit you or if they hurt you, and why do you continue making those choices. So it seems to me like it's more of a reflective card than it is, you know, an addictive card. So it's about reflection and choices, according to what I read in this book. So this deck is maybe teaching me about doing some interior work, about considering my choices and why I choose what I choose, and to see those choices short-term and long-term, where I am now and where I may be in the future. And so that's how maybe I should make choices. That's really pretty deep, actually. So when you make a choice, is it for short-term gain or long-term gain? Okay, I like that. The Sun card. So maybe this deck is teaching me about choices and about happiness and joy. Maybe this deck will bring me happiness and joy. And that's the Sun card. And a completion. So that's very, now these are all Major Arcana, so, you know, they're going to be pretty global. So maybe this will be the deck. You know, we're all looking for our decks, and we try different decks, and some, you know, some decks we're drawn to more than others. Maybe this is my deck. Maybe it's going to give me good messages. I have to read the book, though. And then lastly, the Holly King, which is the Hermit. Of course, I love the Hermit. So the Hermit. So here we have this book for me, this deck for me will be about making choices, evaluating my choices and seeing where it goes. It'll be about joy, finding joy in tarot, finding joy in working with the tarot, finding joy in working with this deck. And finally, but not lastly, is going deep and learning about things that are hidden, going on a journey to learn the unknowable, to learn things that will answers to questions that I may have, and knowledge that I don't have that I will find useful. So that's my short interview and short overview of the Green Witch Tarot. The other thing I just noticed about this, and you know, now I'm starting to read the images, is how this center card is so much different. The other two are darker cards. The other two are more mystery. The other two are more working hard. This is relaxing. This is work. So I got work to do, but I will be rewarded for my work. I will get a lot out of my work, and I will be rewarded by enjoying the light of the sun. The other thing is, this deck may be illuminating me. So I have these two cards that are looking inward, looking at my choices, looking at hidden knowledge. And what I will gain from that is illumination. What? That sounds pretty good. Anyways, it's a very short video because the sun is going down, and I don't even know how much of this you can actually see. But I did want to bring this deck out and look at it. I was just looking at line on somebody's, they were doing a reading, and I said, gee, what is that deck? And I'm thinking, wait a minute, I have that deck. It's really beautiful. It's borderless and nice little wording on the bottom. So I'm going to do more with this. They will go through the minors. I'm sure this deck has been widely reviewed. So that's just my little take on the Major Arcana and a very brief deck interview, which is really quite nice. Hey, enjoy your evening. I'm not sure when I'm going to get this up, but Greenwich Tarot. Have a great day.